When I started this podcast, I had the goal to get to 100 episodes within a year. And I wanted to do 3 episodes per week. And then I was like, I'd better cut back a little bit. So I went down to 2 episodes per week. I got to episode 30 and I was feeling really good about myself. And here we are, just launched episode 38 last Friday. And I got to say, I am not necessarily burnt out, but I'm kind of pressed for time. The reason I'm pressed for time is because I have a lot of things going on. It is peak season for my dog training business. The pet waste removal business is doing pretty well. I just acquired another business. I have money shuffling everywhere. I'm trying to build report cards, operational dashboards, a lot of different things that are taking away from my time. In addition to that, I have to currently get the prompts together and package, everything for YouTube and for the Podbean platform so I can make sure folks can listen to Spotify and Apple and just be everywhere. I'm going to start unloading some of that to my virtual assistants, but nonetheless, I've just been swamped and slammed. And this is one last thing that I want to have to worry about. However, I still really enjoy podcasting and talking to an audience and helping people find value in, sharing my story and other people's stories. Welcome to the Legacy Builders podcast, where we are redefining generational wealth one story at a time. I am your host, Mario Gonzalez Jr., and I just wanted to share kind of updates where this show is going to go moving forward. Like I said, have launched 38 episodes. This will be episode 39. And moving forward with everything that I have going on, I'm going to start scheduling once a week on Tuesdays. It'll be a solo episode like the one that you're listening to today. And then next Tuesday will be a guest episode and so forth. I absolutely want to continue bringing on guests because I find so much value in listening to other people tell their stories. There's folks that I've interviewed who think that they have nothing to say. We get in for a conversation, and then 30 to 45 minutes later, solid episode, lots of good points. I learn from it because I really understand what generational wealth means for them, and I can apply it to my life and my principles and what I'm trying to build right now. So keep an eye out for that. That's the future cadence. As far as what I have going on, like I said a little earlier, I just bought a business, so I'm really systemizing that and learning my key players, figuring out the softwares and the tools. I got back-to-back meetings with folks who are provided the CRM service. There's things going on where some technicians are leaving the dog's gear at the house and not returning it back to the owner right at the doghouse. So it's a dog boarding and daycare business in Austin, Texas. So there's that. And then with All Dogs Unleashed, my dog training business, we're finally starting to pick up, but I just disassociated with HubSpot. I originally bought HubSpot, and we'll have a whole other episode on this, but got into HubSpot because I wanted an executive dashboard. And went in with the intention to get that, and then $20,000 later, I still hadn't seen that result what I was looking for, and it's partly on me because I didn't articulate it. Nonetheless, I want to see a dashboard, operating dashboard that shows me red, yellow, and green, and I can make decisions based off of the data. Would be great if it was a living document or a living dashboard, but I'll settle for weekly. So I'm currently looking at switching over to Go High Level for my sales CRM tool. I'm looking at Looker Studio, connecting and integrating all of my ad data, building out Excel spreadsheets, just doing a lot on that front, and then making sure that I have something to show my team during our weekly AHODs, so that way everybody's tracking towards the same goal, right? It's revenue. So working on that. Poop 911 is doing fine, but it's costing a lot of ad spend, but I do see some growth, right? So that business I'm not too worried with. Ultimately, what it boils down to is all of these things are taking time. And when I sit down and I start processing the transcripts and getting the package for posting the videos on YouTube and doing the SEO work and then loading things on Podbean. That doesn't take too much time. What takes the most time is organizing these shorts that you see on YouTube. That's one thing I've learned is you once you have Opus down, you don't really have to go through and edit every single one because it kind of starts learning and gets a good idea of the content that you want, and it'll pull those clips. Also, you have to have a really good prompt. Okay, but diving into the weeds, I digress. It's taken a lot of time in organizing those clips in the folders and then coming up with short descriptions for each short that comes out. So I'm building a system so that way my virtual assistants can take that part over at least, and then I can just focus on posting the long form content. So I just want to make sure that that they have a good system down, and I kind of learned the cadence. But after 38 episodes, what I really learned about generational wealth, and I wanted to share that with you before I hopped off here, because again, I got a bunch of shit to do. What I really learned is that generational wealth doesn't really necessarily mean just money. And I went into this show thinking that when I'm building generational wealth, I am building it, enough money, enough resources for my kids to have so they don't have to work so hard. And their kids have money, and it can be passed on for generations and generations. And I still want to do that. I still firmly believe in that. But generational wealth also means intellectual property, or teaching people to learn, teaching your kids to learn how to make money and be self-sufficient and start businesses and those things, right? It can also mean generational health. You think about where we are as a society and how 90% of people are out of shape, or older folks can't get around because they never took care of themselves. So generational health, how to pass that on to your friends and family and kids and relatives. Teach them how to stay healthy and fit so that way they can live for longer generations. And not only that, man, but fitness plays such a huge role into how you feel every day and how you perform every day, because it's a whole discipline factor, going to the gym when you don't necessarily want to, and how that translates into business. And sometimes you got to be up till 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning working on things and trying to figure things out, So generational wealth is a whole mixed bag. Some people maybe look a little down on it a little bit, and that's okay. Some people just want their kids and family to have just enough to get by, and that's okay. So I really love talking to folks and being educated myself on this topic. And I think moving forward, what I have been doing is when I find a guest that we really click and you can just kind of feel it, that energy, there's times where I just want to talk more and pull at strings and keep going deep on a topic. And I don't really want to do that with the guest episodes the first time around, because it's really their story, right? So I try a lot not to interrupt them when they're talking, unless I have something really important that I want to share that relates to the story that they're trying to tell. But ultimately, what I want to do is start having repeat guests, and those repeat guests have the opportunity to tell their story the first time. Second time around, we'll pick a topic and stick to that topic. So for example, we had Zach Rowley on the second time, and we specifically got into CPA versus bookkeeping and what it means to have clear books. At some point here in the future, since Joe Escobar already told his story, once we get him back on the show, he'll be talking about sales. And we're just going to have an in-depth discussion around sales tactics and how to motivate people and drive the team, and what it takes to be a great salesperson and make some revenue, make some money. Because at the end of the day, business, as you have probably figured out already, it's a people thing, right? You have to sell to people. If it's not necessarily you selling to a customer, it is you selling your passion and your organization to the team, so that way they can sell for you. It ties into networking. It just covers a whole lot of things. It just doesn't necessarily mean money being exchanged between hands, if that makes sense. So keep an eye on that for the future. It's been quite the journey, and I look forward to continuing it. And again, just providing value to everybody out there who's listening. For those subscribers that I think I have 2 on Spotify right now, so it's pretty dope. I don't really care, man. It's not the subscribers for me. I'm not trying to get rich and off of YouTube and be famous and all that. I really just want to inspire and educate folks. And since I don't have the time to schedule one-on-ones with some of the folks in my local areas, or in my local area, this is a way for me to do it. I would appreciate any content, or excuse me, any comments or feedback that you have for me and how I can improve the show, and any topics that you'd like to hear me discuss or talk about when I bring guests on, or when it's just to hear me by myself. But that said, thank you so much. We will see you on the next one.